That life you crave so much, your dreams, those silent aspirations that you can't wait to experience in this third-dimensional realm, whatever it is that you seek from the universe, it won't come tomorrow, and neither would you see the manifestation someday in the future. It has happened already. It would be self-betrayal for you to believe that your reality would change for good, as long as you keep putting more physical effort alone into your pursuits day by day. That's not how the universe operates. It's the other way round. It is you who has to change. You are the one who has to first tune your vibration to the frequency of your higher version. And when you stay on that frequency long enough, long enough, eventually the external world would have no other option but to cooperate and yield to your internal state of vibration. Whatever it is that you seek from the universe, you have to understand that there is a higher version of yourself who has already materialized it. But the only problem is that you are not that person at the moment. Before pressing further, I believe you understand that you are not the same person that you were 10 years ago. Though your physical attributes have either slightly or greatly changed, still, you occupy the same pile of flesh. In all of these, what makes you different is not your skin texture or the length of the hair on your head. The difference between who you are now and who you were a decade ago is evident in your level of consciousness, which must have expanded over these years. Just as the internal calibration of your present self is what separates you from your former self. This is the same way you are not the same person as your higher version who has already materialized your intuitive desires. Your mental strength, emotional resilience, and spiritual capacity does not correspond with that of your higher version. At this very moment, your frequencies do not match, and all you have to do is to shift your state of vibration to that very plane of consciousness where your higher version dwells, and watch how your experience with the external world shifts too. In case you've not noticed, your present reality only corresponds with your level of consciousness. You've not materialized your intuitive desires, all because you're not on the right frequency. On the frequency where your higher version exists, the manifestation of what you seek has happened already, and that's exactly where you have to be. Once you vibrate as one who has already materialized their desires, everyone around you would perceive it. From the tone of your voice, from your aura, from your demeanor and poise, earthlings around you would perceive that you already have what you seek from divinity, even if they don't know what it is that you have. Your presence alone would mirror your internal state of vibration and send energetic frequencies into the universe as one who no longer needs what they long for, because you have it already. It is only when you are on this frequency that your desires would be compelled to collapse into your reality. It's a universal principle, and whether you are aware of it or not, you are presently under the same law. As within, so without. Your entire reality at the moment corresponds exactly with your internal state of vibration. For clarity, your thoughts, the ideas that often flow into your mind, your choice of words, your aura, your friends, the people in your life, the opportunities you attract, including the ones you don't attract, all of these resonates with your level of consciousness. People barely see you. They see the crystallized version of your inner world via your aura. They barely hear you when you speak. They hear and respond to your frequency first, not your words. Frequency, that's the language of the universe. Your frequency determines your entire experience in this third-dimensional realm. and to believe that your reality would change for good while you vibrate on that same frequency that you are used to is nothing but self-deceit. Your reality would only respond and shift the moment you tune your internal state of vibration to the right frequency, the frequency where your intuitive desires have happened already. But this does not imply that you ought to parade the surface of the earth with costumes while trying to impress the external world, pretending like you are already on the frequency of what you seek from the universe, as the half-wise do, without having a clear understanding of how they would have to go through the necessary internal calibration before their desires collapse into their reality. Such half-wise folks only focus on the external, while divinity is concerned with the internal. Such folks that walk around the earth with the anthem, fake it till you make it eventually get crushed and left with bruised egos when the universe comes with the necessary tests that are meant to verify and authenticate that they are indeed grounded on that frequency that they are pretending to the external world as though they inhabit. Divinity can't be mocked. You are not getting what you seek from the universe, not because you are not hard-working, but because you need it so bad, and you're constantly sending out energetic frequencies into the universe daily as one who lacks what they desire. You would learn a lot about the nature of the universe from the femininity of women. Your intuitive desires won't collapse into your reality as long as you are only chasing them. You only attract what resonates with your internal state of vibration, and that's law. You can only have what you already have. Now, I believe you must be wondering why I've been referring to your higher version as a person living in the present moment. Well, that's just the way it is. That individual who has materialized your present intuitive desires exists in a certain plane of existence at the moment. But for crystal clarity, you have to understand the nature of the immaterial and infinite being inside of you, your spirit. This is where it gets deeper. From the lens of the Holy Scripture, when Jesus once mentioned, "In my Father's house, there are many mansions," have you ever wondered how there could be many mansions in a single house? Have you ever thought of it? How could there be mansions in a house? Well, when he walked on the surface of the earth about 2,000 years ago, Jesus was not just a man, he was divinity experiencing humanity. He was constantly hooked up with his spirit and the immaterial realm to the point where he could only communicate spiritual things to mortal men who were far from their infinitude by using allegories. The word mansions refers to different states of consciousness, dimensions, cosmic realms, or heavenly places. One of Jesus' apostles also brought a great revelation to humanity concerning manifestation after he had several encounters with the invisible realm. John stated, "A man can receive nothing except it be given him from heaven." And from the words of Jesus in Luke 17 verse 21, "Behold, the kingdom of heaven is within you." Indeed, it's a kingdom that you have within, and in there are diverse planes of consciousness that your indwelling spirit could experience. Contrary to the known limitations of your mind and body, your spirit is fluid, ancient, and boundless. That's the full embodiment of who you are and who you would ever be. That's the person who knows everything about your temporary adventure in this realm of matter, including your destiny. This explains why Paul stated in 1 Corinthians 2 verse 11, "For what man knows the things of a man, save the spirit of man which is in him?" At the moment, I believe you are either listening to this message from the four walls of a building, or you're outdoors. Either ways, you definitely can't move from where you are right now to a different city by the snap of a finger, and neither can you move through walls or disappear from your present location. This is how limited your physical body is. And likewise, your mind can only process information gotten from your five senses whenever you are caught up in the act of thinking or imagination. Unlike your mind and body, your indwelling spirit is limitless. You can shift from one state of consciousness to another, not in few weeks, not by the end of the day. Now. You do it often unconsciously, but now you have to do it consciously. Whatever plane of consciousness your spirit inhabits presently would definitely have a ripple effect on your level of consciousness, your perception of reality, and your experience with this material world. The numerous dimensions that your indwelling spirit could explore can be likened to different radio stations that are definitely operating simultaneously, but on different frequencies. Whenever you are tuned into the station where the news is being broadcast, you surely can't hear the music playing on another station, all because you are not tuned to that frequency. This is the same way your spirit operates. The frequency of lack that you are tuned into presently does not correspond with that of your higher version, who's already materialized what you desire from the universe. Your higher version exists presently in one of the numerous planes of consciousness that you are yet to ascend into. When you are done watching this video, you would have not just crystal clarity on how to shift internally into that very frequency where your higher version dwells, but also you would understand the ripple effects that that shift would have on your internal and external realities. Before pressing further, you should understand why I've been using the words intuitive desires. Stay with me. If you are awake, if you've detached from the illusory drama that most of humanity blindly call reality, if you've found that inner stillness that resonates with the frequency of the midnight's vibration, then you are in sync with your indwelling spirit. And now that you are in alignment, your spirit would often communicate with you through one or all of the following: an intuitive knowing, a night vision, or prophetic dream, also through your unique spiritual gifts. But in all of these, your intuition is nothing but the non-verbal voice of your spirit. Most of the communications you would often receive from your inner man would come through your intuition. If your present desires often come from any of these frequencies of transmission, then such desires are not engineered towards seeking external approval or validation. Your desires are both your soul's need and clues to your ultimate destiny. On top of that, those longings that have been ignited in your soul are pointers to the fact that there is a higher version of yourself who has already materialized them in certain frequencies that you are not yet internally tuned to. The codes that would make you fit to inhabit the dimension where your higher version exists have not been completely etched into your consciousness, and that's where the work lies. Once the codes are complete, once you are grounded on that frequency where your higher self dwells, and your level of consciousness corresponds with that frequency, the external world would have no other option but to mirror your internal state of vibration. This is only how your intuitive desires would eventually unfold into your 3D experience. To tune your internal state of vibration to the frequency of your higher version who has materialized your desires, all you have to do is to use your imagination. Visualize yourself living in the reality you want. Imagine yourself living in that reality already at the moment. Do this from time to time, every day. Be delusional. Yes, delusion is a necessary ingredient on this journey. You have to get used to living like your desires have collapsed into your reality, till you don't even have to visualize what you long for anymore, because you are already used to vibrating on that frequency. One common thing about the philosophies of every thought and spiritual leader from the inception of time is that your destiny is bound to be shaped by your dominant thoughts. From ancient spiritual leaders such as Jesus, Gautama, to recent thought leaders like Neville Goddard and Joseph Murphy, the fact remains: your thoughts are shaping your reality at this moment. And even though your mind was molded from infancy by the beliefs that were etched into your consciousness during your early conditioning, still, your reality would keep unfolding the way your mind has been programmed, until you consciously decide to alter your mental vibration. From the lens of the Hermetic philosophy, we understand that everything is in motion, nothing rests, everything vibrates at certain frequencies, and your mind as well is not exempted. Your thoughts could either be vibrating at a dense or high frequency. Unfortunately, the society programs you to vibrate low, but your higher version vibrates high. In a nutshell, you have an inherent power. You have the power to alter your own mental vibration by shifting your level of consciousness. When you imagine your intuitive desires and live your life as though the life you seek has collapsed into your reality already, you have to understand that thinking is not enough. You have to feel the manifestation of that reality in your heart. You have to impress what you visualized on your emotions. Feel it, because that's exactly how your higher version feels at the moment. That person that you are yet to become does not need to chase what they already have, because they have it already. And this is exactly the frequency that you ought to stay aligned to. Be delusional about it, because your desires have happened already. Music is a strong tool of spiritual influence, and even though most humans are often programmed unconsciously by the beats and rhythm that they listen to, you should use music to your advantage. Whatever song or instrumental that you love so much, because of how it elevates your spirit, ensure you play it and get soaked into that frequency whenever you are visualizing your desired reality. This way, you would definitely feel the manifestation of what you seek in that very moment. But ensure you do this with discreet discernment. Sounds are portals to different states of consciousness, and not all dimensions ought to be explored. This is why you have to be very sincere about the kind of music that aligns with your spirit. Discernment is your shield. But then, if you are wondering why it is so important for you to hop on the frequency of your higher version, who has already materialized your intuitive desires in the eternal grand scheme of things, then you have to understand that this is just the genesis of your manifestation. The ripple effect of that, your simple delusional action, is what really matters. Definitely, your reality in this third dimensional realm won't change all of a sudden because you live like it has. The change begins in a different way. The change starts with an internal friction, and that is your old frequency fighting your new frequency. You would experience this war in your mind. Your former perception of reality or state of consciousness would revolt against you. And this is where most humans often fail. Many would eventually fold out of fear and return into their familiar shell. Yes, you would initially go back and forth, alternating between your old frequency and the new frequency. During the early stages of entering that new frequency, your mind would become a cinema. Your old fears would quickly resurface. Images and scenes of your insecurities would be fed to your mind. Your old identity would would try everything possible to ensure you let go of that new frequency and return to your shell. This is similar to what Gautama Buddha experienced when he was seated under the Bodhi tree where he became enlightened. According to him, he experienced numerous mental manipulation from an unseen entity that he called Mara. Mara represents the Lord of Illusion, the embodiment of that personality who keeps most of humanity trapped in a certain layer of consciousness, without having the privilege of ascending into other spiritual dimensions, beyond the known logical limits that have been etched into the minds of humans in the 3D world. From the lens of the Holy Scripture, this mental resistance is known as strongholds, and that's exactly the first unseen force that you would have to wrestle with. You have to slay that dragon that would often creep into your dreams as well, and bring scenes of your old weaknesses and illusory limitations that might seem logical. In a nutshell, you have to die to your previous identity before you can maintain and stay grounded on that new frequency. That's just how the spirit world operates. Before you ascend into a new layer of consciousness or dimension, you first have to die to the identity of the person who lived in the previous one. It's just spiritual mechanics. To get rid of that friction in your head, just listen to the noise within without reacting. Don't panic. Just observe the mental drama. This is the basic science behind meditation. Though that guy in your head would become more toxic by the day if you keep ignoring him, still, the mental tussle would eventually fade if you master the art of observing the rhythm of your thoughts without being swayed by them. Aside meditation and conscious stillness, you could also silence that noise within by other methods such as prayers, exercise, high-frequency sounds or music that resonates with the divine frequency, and the likes. Eventually, when you slay that dragon, you'd then have full access to what Paul referred to as spiritual blessings in the 3rd verse of Ephesians 1. These include insights, inspiration, thoughts, ideas, and intuitive knowings that correspond with the frequency where your higher version dwells. These insights are meant to shape your perception of reality, and you also have a responsibility. It is your responsibility to yield to your heightened intuition and crystallize the ideas or inspiration that flow into your consciousness. I mean, just as crude oil has to be refined and transmuted into various petroleum products, you also have to refine those ideas and inspiration that would often navigate towards your direction. For unto him that hath, more shall be given, and he shall have abundance. But from him that hath not, even that which he hath shall be taken away from him. Matthew 25, verse 29. As soon you start transporting those ideas and inspirations that flow into your consciousness on that new frequency into your 3D reality, as soon as you start responding to your intuitive knowings, more would come. This, exactly, is how you co-create your destiny in an untethered alignment with your indwelling spirit. Funny enough, those insights might seem like they are new to you, but that frequency that you would have full access to once you slay that dragon has always been in motion, even before you could tune your internal state of vibration to that very channel. Just as you won't be able to hear the music playing on a certain radio station whenever you are listening to the news on a different station, this is the same way you can't have access to the thoughts, ideas, and inspiration that constantly flow into the consciousness of your higher version, who has materialized your intuitive desires in the eternal grand scheme of things whenever you are not tuned to that frequency. In addition to this internal experience, When you're tuned into that frequency, there would also be a ripple effect on your aura. The magnetic allure of your aura intensifies. Your dreams become very vivid. Your frequency too amplifies. Eventually, since your experience with the external world would always mirror your internal world, those around you would begin to perceive you differently. Those that have known you for a while would no longer understand you. Some would say you were doing too much. Some would even spite you, because they know your achievements and possessions do not match your vibration. These are the folks that are lost in the conditioning and illusory principles of the 3D world, and their response to your new frequency is nothing but a reflection of who they are. We barely see the people around us for who they are. We only see a reflection of who we are in them. Those that don't know you from Adam, they would approach you with caution. Even if they don't see you driving an exotic car or wearing the most expensive wares, they would believe you have more than you choose to show the external world. They would easily believe you are not out here seeking external validation. And also, those that their vibration corresponds with yours would instantly recognize you when they see you. These folks would effortlessly navigate towards your direction, and the relationships that would emerge from such encounters would lead to the manifestation of your desired reality. Even your social media feeds would catch the fire. The algorithm on all the apps you use would slowly match the frequency that you've shifted to and feed your mind with content that corresponds with your vibration. But most importantly, yielding to your intuition and crystallizing the ideas that flow into your consciousness on this new frequency is what you should focus on. And while you do this, you'd begin to lose friends that do not align with your spiritual journey, because you would barely have time for activities that do not resonate with your desired reality and purpose. But definitely different shapes and sizes of resistances would come your way. You would experience energetic, spiritual, and physical resistance that would attempt to shift your alignment on this new frequency to your old frequency. You would fail at certain points. You would encounter setbacks and rejection. You would experience weird energetic frictions in your spirit that you won't be able to explain. You would feel drained at times for no obvious reason. Regardless of the resistance you encounter, your mind and heart are the main targets. This explains why the Holy Scriptures instructs that you have to guard your heart with all diligence. Whenever you discern a fall from grace within, then you have to transmute the hostile energy you feel until you are back on that very frequency where your intuitive desires have happened already. Again, music, high-frequency sounds, prayers, long walks, exercise, cold showers, conscious stillness. These are energy transmutation techniques that would definitely help shift your vibration from the abyss of hell to your peak frequency. The resistances you would often encounter would definitely leave the exact energetic impressions that are meant to prepare the texture of your heart for the necessary weight of the desired reality that you long for. And divinity would keep bringing different resistances your way, just to verify that you are grounded on that frequency and you are not just another pretender. This is why you have to master the art of energy transmutation. That's how you hasten the manifestation of your intuitive desires. For other folks out there that need to find this message, push the like button and share with those that you believe would need it.